Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
I threw a 35th birthday party for myself. I had the defendant create a floral arrangement for me.
I don't know how she would know what colors I would be able to provide for her. Like, what research did you do for that?
If someone's going to spend $5,000 on some flowers, I would imagine that they would have done some research and knew exactly what they wanted.
And I provided her with a beautiful arrangement. You can look at the photo and even compare it.
But it's not beautiful.
She's just trying to get a free party out of it.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Julia Gottlieb is suing her florist for using the wrong colored flowers at her birthday party. She's suing for damages in the amount of $7,500. Florist Alex Armand claims he did everything in his power to match the color scheme the plaintiff specified.
All rise, remain standing and come to order. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
You may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. This is the case involving Julia Gottlieb. Ma'am, I understand you're suing Alex Armand for $7,500 because he allegedly messed up a flower order.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. That sounds pretty high for flowers, ma'am. Tell me your story.
Well, Your Honor, I threw a 35th birthday party for myself. I didn't want to have my friends have to worry about it, so I took care of it. It was at a nice location on a rooftop, and I had the defendant create a floral arrangement for me. It was one large centerpiece and 20 small centerpieces for the other tables. And have the pictures here of what I had asked. It was orange orchids and rust-colored hydrangeas. I wanted a lot of greenery, and this was to go with the place settings that I had picked out. This was also to go with the tableware, and this is also to go with my outfit that I had chosen for the event as well.
And how much did you pay for the flowers?
It was $5,000.
$5,000 just for the flowers?
Yes, for the arrangements, the centerpiece, the large three-tiered centerpiece. It included 3 terracotta pots, large, there was orchids on top. It was very nice.
You really went all out.
Yes, I did. It was a large celebration. I mean, it's a milestone. I was turning 35, and it wasn't only a celebration for myself, but it was also a time of networking with other clients and stuff. So it's very important to me.
So, Mr. Armand, you entered into this agreement with the plaintiff, correct?
Yeah, I entered into an agreement, yes.
And what was your understanding with respect to the agreement?
That I would do whatever I could to match the photo that she brought, depending on what was in season. And I do have that in writing.
Okay. And so when Ms. Gottlieb talks about the orchids and the hydrangeas...
I gave her those.
You gave her those?
I did.
And she indicated that the orchids were going to be orange and the hydrangeas were going to be rust.
That's correct.
And that's what you gave her?
That's what I gave her to the best of my ability.
And so how do we have a discrepancy here?
That's a good question.
Well, Your Honor, what I got was some type of 4-tiered arrangement with a type of goldish crown on it. Gold was not part of the original contract that I had asked for. I had asked for many greens. I knew what was in season, and I knew that the orchids were in season. I also knew the hydrangeas were in season. So I knew that he could get them for me in those colors. And I trusted his expertise in his
And did you go over specifically with Mr. Armand, this is the color palette that I want you to work with?
Yes. I brought in pictures, and I also brought in a number of color shades of exactly what I wanted. Okay. I also brought in the tablecloths. I brought in some of my dishware.
Now, why did you bring in the tablecloths?
Because they would be matched exactly to my arrangement.
Oh, so you had matching orange and rust tablecloths?
Mm-hmm. That's why the arrangement was very important.
I see. So anything that wasn't quite the way you wanted it was going to be off.
Exactly.
Do you recall when you met with Ms. Gottlieb that she brought you the tablecloth and all these pictures?
Yes, she brought me all that stuff, and I explained to her that I could do what I could depending on what was in season at the time. I don't know how she would know what colors I would be able to provide for her. Like, what research did you do for that? Are you a
Well,
florist?
No, I'm not a florist. However, there is such thing as the internet, and I was able to see what flowers are available
Well, if
and what type
someone's
of
going
seasons.
to spend $5,000 on some flowers, I would imagine that they would have done some research and knew exactly what they wanted.
Your Honor, this
To
is a
come to
scam.
I trusted him with the pictures that I brought in and the color palettes that I brought in to be able to match them.
When America's Court returns,
I paid him. What matters is better is in my eyes.
There's a reason that people hire me. It's so that I can do what I do best.
and later on America's Court with Judge Ross.
I've told her so many times that I didn't want to go to college. I told her I was leaving college, but she never listens to me.
Is that true, Mom?
Well, she's told me that she didn't want to go to college, but I've always felt that college, without college, you can't get anywhere in this world anymore. And
You're not the one going at this point.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Julia Gottlieb, who is suing her florist in the amount of $7,500.
Is it fair to say that someone that's going to put in an order for $5,000, if you are considered the best in Chicago, this isn't anything that's unusual for you? Is that a fair statement?
It's not unusual, and I provided her with a beautiful arrangement. You can look at the photo and even compare it.
It's not beautiful.
Who has the copy of the contract? Anyone?
I do.
Let's take a look at that. And so, does the contract specify, Mr. Armand, the colors and the types of flowers that are going to be used?
It specifies to the best of my ability, depending on seasonal restraints. She's just trying to get a free party out of this.
That gives him some wiggle room, ma'am. If he says to the best of my ability, then he's not saying he can absolutely guarantee.
Correct, but with the pictures of the actual arrangements that came, I don't see how peach roses, yellow roses, some greenery, and a couple of
Well, where did the roses
yellow
come in? I
orchids.
thought it was just hydrangeas and
I'd like
orchids.
to know that.
Let me see a copy of what you have. This is a photograph of what?
That's what actually came, and this is actually
Wanted?
what I had wanted.
All right, so we've got two photographs here. Let's start with the first picture. It shows the 3 tiers of flowers. Now, is this what you showed Mr. Armand?
Yes, I got those from
That's beautiful.
Yes, it is actually. I got it from a magazine article, and he assured me that he would be able to provide me with that service.
Now, having spent a minute to really look at this, Mr. Armand, this is what you ultimately delivered to Miss Gottlieb.
Your Honor, I don't see how that looks anything like.
Are you serious?
Oh, that looks better.
Really?
I'm the
Yeah.
client. I paid him. What matters is better is in my eyes.
Well, but you paid me
You
for a
said
service.
that looks better according to who?
Am I not the expert here that you hired to do the service? There's a reason that people hire me. It's so that I can do what I do best. And if they're not willing to accept what I do best, then they shouldn't be hiring me in the first place. There's no question that I did the work for her. I provided her with the 3 tiers, the color arrangements as best as I
There's
possibly
no
could.
greenery in there.
Where's the green?
She didn't ask for green.
Yes, I did.
She showed you this picture. Let's see those back on the monitor. She showed you, this is what I want. I don't see green anywhere in this picture. Let's see the other one. Is it me? Am I colorblind? I don't see any sort of green. I don't see anything other than roses.
Your Honor, she made mention of the colors. She did not make mention of the greenery.
I don't know anything about flowers, so I am totally out of my element here. But I know when I'm looking at roses, when someone says I want orchids and hydrangeas, I know that. How long have you been in business, sir?
18 years.
Okay, then you are slipping. So was this your best, sir?
That is my absolute best.
It's your absolute best. Your best isn't good enough. Now, let's look at this from a standpoint of the $5,000, because if you're trying to match the rust and orange tablecloths and other things, I would imagine, decorations, I could see it still being in the realm. So it didn't have an impact on the party, did it?
Oh, yes, Your Honor, I certainly did. I got there before the party started. It started at 11. I got there at 9. It's when I saw the defendant and I saw the terrible display of flowers. And the peach in the roses didn't match the rust color that I had for the actual tablecloth. There was some comparison, but it didn't match, and it made me very frustrated, and it didn't match at all.
Your Honor, she ran around the party telling her friends, look at the awful flowers, look at the awful flowers. What were they
I paid
doing?
$5,000 for them. They were awful.
I don't see why you think this is so funny.
I do. I think it's
don't.
quite hilarious.
I don't. You want to take creative liberties with something that's your event. That's one thing. This is her party. This is her moment. So if she goes to this party expecting a presentation and then she doesn't get what she wants, she gets that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not this. That's not this. It's not even up for discussion.
I didn't have that, Your Honor.
Then why didn't you just tell her, I can't give you this?
Because 3 months in advance, I don't know on the day of.
Because $5,000 was just too good of a deal to pass up.
I think
so
a free
the only
party
issue
is
that
too good
I
to
need
pass
to
up.
resolve right now is the charge was $5,000, but you want $2,500 for what, ma'am?
Emotional distress.
Why do you think that this is a case that rises to the level of emotional distress?
Well, Your Honor, when I planned this party, like I said in the beginning, it was a celebration, also a time of networking with other clients. This was a very stressful situation. I was expecting to be able to go in, having paid this much money for arrangements for my party, and then to come in and look terrible. The whole thing was totally ruined. The whole evening was shot. I couldn't enjoy myself. I was constantly looking around, seeing how everything wasn't going with everything else.
I understand, but ultimately what it comes down to for a claim of intentional infliction of emotional distress, there has to be some sort of element that establishes that the defendant in this case was trying to cause you the distress that you actually suffered, ma'am. And we don't have that. I think we just have a situation where we've got a business owner here who thinks he knows better and he knows more than the customer. And that's a lesson that he's getting ready to learn right now. Doesn't work with Boss Ross. The gavel will come down in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $5,000, sir. That is the order.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $5,000.
This woman is trying to scam me into getting a free party, and she just did.
I'm never going to get that 35th birthday back, but I can get the money back, and that makes me feel happy at the end of the day.
And